start with you playing netball in school, because if I've got all my facts correct, you made pretty much all the teams growing up. Like, at what
Yeah,
age
yeah.
did you
So I
know that
started.
you were good in netball, and yeah, when did it start for you?
Okay, so it started when I was 10.
Okay.
I was in primary school then, of course. With my coach then was Mrs. Yearly.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, she's actually my son's teacher at the moment because my son
What?
is at the same school. Yeah.
Okay.
So I started when I was 10, and yeah, and it ended in 2015 when I beginning of 2015 when I officially retired.
Yeah.
But I must say it was the first game that we played against a school in PE called Warmer Base,
Yeah.
and we lost 8-4. And I
Okay.
was playing goal shooter at that time. And I remember saying to my teacher, "Oh my goodness, no, I don't want to play this
Okay.
sport anymore," because everybody was crying. Everybody was saying it's my fault that we lost because I missed all the shots. And then she said to me, "No, you've got to continue playing because she believes that one day I'll be a star."
Yes.
And that's when my netball journey basically started, and I never looked back.
Okay. Yeah. How special is that? She called it already back then. She could see the potential. I feel that sometimes we as coaches don't
Yeah,
realize the power we have in our words. So, yeah, you should thank her.
not totally.
Adam.
Yeah.
And then you, well, you grew up in PE, played for Eastern
Yeah.
Cape, Aloes, PE. You played under Lana for a long time. How was that for you?
Yo, yeah, no. I played with her,
Yes.
and then I played, and she was also, so she was my teammate, and then she was also my coach.
Yeah.
Um, I still say, and I still maintain that she's, for me, probably one of the best coaches we have in our country. And everything that I know, I learned from her. Everything I understand about the game, I learned from Lana, you know, and I still use some of her drills and methods even now. Today, they're still so relevant, you know, because
Yeah.
she's such a specialist in everything that she does, and she's she for me is like my coaching backbone. She's like my coaching backbone, if I can put
Yes.
it that
Yes.
way. And I learned, you know, the that you can't bypass the process. It's fine that you have a talent, but if you don't work hard and be disciplined and supplement your talent with that, then there's only so far you can go. You know,
Yeah.
she is by far the best thing that's ever happened to me when it comes to my netball.
Yeah.
Um, and every time I say that to her, she's like, "No," I'm like, "I really mean it." You know,
Yes.
I mean, yeah, she's brilliant. So I learned the basics, the fundamental basics of playing netball, and also how to be the best Zanele that I can be. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
she really groomed me. She groomed me in the wing defense position. She groomed me in the goal defense position because I started there with her on goal defense, and then when I got to the national setup, I then moved down to wing defense, or moved across to wing defense, not necessarily down. And she taught me that as a wing defense, how to be a sticker, you know, how to, and that's one of the toughest things to do, is being a sticking wing defense. Oh, it's the worst. So so I can't thank Lana enough.
Yes.
I'll always be indebted and grateful for her input and contribution to my netball.
Yeah, no, she's a legend, and she never cares to just share everything. And she's so humble; she'll never take it. Like if you compliment her, she'll be like, "No, it's not me, it's you." But
Yeah.
yeah, I've learned so much from her as well. You touched on this point. So you played with Lana. but you've played with a lot of senior players that was really talented, and you guys were really good. Your team was strong. You were like, we didn't want to play against you. You had Simi, Nontle, Dumi,
Yeah.
Yolandi Farman, Lana, all of them. Did you learn a lot from playing with such strong characters?
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. If I think back, I remember that 2019, even before 2004, we played, we were in Poch.
Yes.
And I still remember we played the finals against Gauteng. That Gauteng team was coached by Hazel Gumede. That Gauteng team had players like Leanne Zeki. It had Adela Jonker.
Mm.
It had Tiger. Is it
Yes.
Tiger?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Tanya. It had Manzo.
Yes.
It was like literally a whole Protea
Yeah.
lineup, you
Sure.
know?
Yes,
And
yes.
Lana was our captain. We had Heidi, we had Nontle, we had Philly, we had Yolandi Salmans, we had Claudette, we had Yulene Grobler. Hey,
Yes.
yo, and that team also had Davi saying Moabi, that
Yes, yes.
Gauteng team. Yo. So we played them that morning and we lost to them. And then when they did the calculations, they realized that that afternoon we would still meet them in the final. We'd have to play them in the finals.
Yes, yes.
Whoa! Same team twice. But playing with characters like Simi, Lana, Nontle, strong, you know, personalities.
Yeah.
But Lana handled us so well. You know, she just allowed everybody to be themselves.
Yeah.
But you always had to remember that it's not about you. It really is not about you. It's about the team, you know. So I learned so much. I mean, playing with Nontle, because at that time, Nontle was goalkeeper and Lana was goal defense, and I was wing defense.
Yeah.
But I played with Nontle at some stage in the circle when Lana would not play, and we had a bond and a relation. We knew each other so well.
Yeah.
Like Lana taught us to know each other so well that at times we didn't even have to talk in the circle. You know, we just knew where the other person was, and you know, oh yeah, those were amazing days. But very strong players, and I learned a lot from each and every one of them.
Yes, yes. Netball's moved in the more professional direction, and it's not just the playing part. Like netball as a whole has been something that really in our country moved more professionally, and I think all the players, especially at the university level, like we all try and tick all the boxes. Like nutrition is a big part of playing netball and what you take in. And I heard this story about you eating a 2-liter ice cream before a tournament. So I don't know, like tell me a little bit about that.
You must have heard that either from your Ladi Salman or you must have heard Lana. Because we were at the university and we went to club champs.
Yes.
So Yolandi and myself are like the young players in this team, and this team is like has got Lana, it's got really these strong P Technicon players, you know. And we the young ones in the team. So I mean at that time, I mean at that age, I mean, you know, we were skinny, you could eat anything and you wouldn't gain an inch, you wouldn't gain a kilogram, you know, and really knew nothing about what to eat and what not to eat before a game, after a game. I was just eating whatever, you know. I mean, we still had players that feel if you'd want a KFC before a game, you know. So yeah, it was crazy. So Yolandi and I we went to the shop, and then people were buying stuff and whatever. And I was like, I wonder what are we gonna eat? You know, so Lana was always like, you don't change anything. If you used to eating this, before a game, you stick to that. You don't like come to competition now and then you doing funny things,
Yeah.
So I didn't have a specific meal or anything that I would eat before a game.
Yeah.
So that night before, we bought like ice cream. We literally we put it in the microwave.
Oh my.
And we ate that and we drank that, and Lana was like, oh my hat, what is going on here? But yeah, but I don't know. I can say that maybe it didn't have a negative impact on us because we still played and things went well. But
Yes.
it's definitely not something I would recommend now, for sure.
Yes, I just want to mention that for the youngsters looking at this interview, maybe ice cream is not the best go-to for free meal or anything like that. um,
Definitely not.
you've had a lot of good experiences under a coach, and you've also had a lot of bad experiences under a coach. One coach actually at one stage told you you are not good enough. And how do you deal with things like that, and how do you overcome it and like not take that comment to heart?
Yo, sis, yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that comment?
I remember that
Yeah.
comment. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
been,
You've taken me back now. I'm like, yo,
yes,
yeah, I remember it it's like so loud. It's so clear in my, I can
it hurts.
still actually hear it now,
Yeah.
But I think fortunately, obviously those things, they will hurt you, they will hurt you. They will break you. Um, but then you also, as a player, have a decision to make. For me, I've always wanted to play for South Africa.
Yeah.
So, and since I was a little girl, so I've always had this thing in my mind that I'm never going to let anything or anyone stand in the way of me getting there.
Yeah.
Yes, those comments were painful. They did sort of break and chip away at my confidence. Um, but I still kept my eyes fixed on the prize.
Yes, yes.
And like you said, we as coaches, we really don't know the power we have with our words and how we can either make or break a player, and how we can actually prevent a player from ever achieving their dreams and goals, especially if that player believes in the coach.
Yep.
And you look for that affirmation, you look for that validation from this person, and I've been fortunate enough to have coaches who have affirmed me. And it's those coaches that I would lay my life down for, I'd go to war for,
Yes.
and I struggled to play under a coach that didn't believe in me.
Yeah.
I would, because I'll be like, what's the point?
Yeah.
No matter how hard I go, this person still doesn't see my worth. But I still remember at that time I was actually dating a guy, and we're still very good friends even today. I'd come back from camp and I would share this with him, and the one thing he would say to me was, you know what? You just have to always be a step ahead. You've got to, like, if for example you are told to do, if you're given a training program and you're told to do so many shuttles, whatever, do more. He just encouraged me. He didn't actually feel that negativity. He just said, you've got to, you can't actually give her a choice. You can't give her a choice. She must be like, oh my goodness, I'm stuck with this player. And she can, even if she feels that you're not good enough, but your play and your performance must just speak for itself. Because that's the only way you can answer someone, is if you perform. And then no one can fault you. If your performance is on point. So yeah, but I learned a lot from that. And I must say, being a coach now, that's something that is I'm very alert to and awake to. That whatever happens, even if you see that this player does might not really get that they can get, you still have a responsibility to be positive and encourage and push them to be the best that they can be, you
Yes, yes.
know. So yeah,
I
but
like how you.
fortunately, yeah.
No, sorry, you can go.
So fortunately, you know, I wasn't born to break. You know, I was born to make it, and I was fortunate enough along the way to have had people who believed in me and really held my hand and showed me the way. So
Yes,
eventually, I got to the destination.
yes, yes. I like how you turned it around. Like, in a sense, what the coach says is her opinion and in her hands, but what you do is in your hands, and how you approach that,
Your,
or like receive it, take it or don't take it, but you can actually only change
yeah,
what's in your hands, and you can do the best that you can do. So I think that's great advice. That brings me to my next point. You said that you've always wanted to play for the Proteas, and it was a dream from a very young age. What does it mean for you to play for your country? And then, in the same question, I want to ask, what does it mean to sing the anthem?
sure, sis. And you know, now when we play now, I mean, netball is professional now. You know, players get paid, and our time, you know, you stood there on that transverse line wearing the green and gold with that Protea on your chest, and you sang the national anthem, and you realize that you carrying every little girl's hopes on your shoulders,
Yeah,
you know, and their dreams. They look at you and they like, one day I want to be there,
mm,
you know.
yeah,
Um, we really played for the love of our country and for the love of the game, you know.
mm.
And what we had to show was the certificates and the our yellow shorts. Remember those yellow shorts, those yellow and
Oh, the yellow shorts were the worst.
the yellow tops or
Never.
the green shorts and the green tops, you
Oh,
know, and
yeah.
the shoe brookies underneath. And, oh my goodness! So to play for South Africa, it's like it was obviously a dream come true for me,
Mm,
but it was the biggest honor um, that could ever be bestowed upon any athlete, you know, to
yeah,
represent your country and fly your country's flag
yes,
around the world, um, and knowing that, you know, you are showing a little girl that it's possible.
yes,
Doesn't
yes,
matter where you come from, doesn't matter how you grew up, whatever. You're showing them that if you work hard enough and you have a dream and and you um and you stay in the course, you know, you stay in the lane and you keep pushing, it's nothing is impossible. So
yes,
that is for me something that I will forever cherish and treasure for as long as I live.
yes. And the anthem?
Yo, yeah, like you can't help but get goosebumps and shed tears, you know, because when you sing the national anthem, you think of the country, our country, you know, everything we've been through, the
Yes,
struggles, the adversities, the challenges, and um, and you stand there and you're like, you're going to war, you
yes,
know, you're going to war, you're going to fight
yes,
and show that South Africa is um, a victorious country. You know, we are a country of winners and a country of people who can overcome
yes, yes,
uh, all things that they face. You know, and if we stand together, we achieve so much more.
yeah,
So that national anthem just gives me goosebumps. It just sends shivers down my spine. You know,
yes, yes,
um, and even now when the Proteas are playing now and maybe commentating and we stand there and we sing the national anthem, I still feel that things as if I'm still going to go on court and
yes,
play. You know, it's a feeling that you can't actually describe
yeah,
unless you actually someone needs to experience it. When you stand there,
yeah,
you're looking at your opponent, you're standing standing close to your teammate, you holding them and you saying, let's go, let's do
Yes,
this, you
yes.
know?
You kind of feel
Yeah.
that energy flowing from your teammate next to you, through the
Next to
crowd, through
you,
the, yeah.
yeah.
It's difficult to
Yeah.
explain, definitely. Zanny,
Yeah.
you've played for a long time and things have changed a lot. Like you've mentioned earlier, things are getting more professional, and I think a lot of things have changed for the better in our country lately. And I think you were part of it. And I think Elise, um, she started with trying to change some of the culture things for us. And a big thing that she stood for was GCT. And I know that you also bought into that idea, and we had that whole culture, and we really believed in it. Um, did it mean a lot to you to have something like that to hold on to?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I've never GCT, I can see Mans, I can see Leanne Zeki,
Yes,
you
yes,
know, God country for we're playing for God, for our country and for our team.
yes,
And, you know, when the new players came in, I don't think obviously they just heard GCT, but they didn't really quite understand, you know, what it actually means
yes.
and where it originated from, you know.
Mhm.
And we have experienced many victories holding on to that. You
Yes,
know, we did some things that many people thought were impossible. You know, we've experienced amazing victories because we held on to that GCT, and
yes,
we believed that that's why we're doing what we're doing.
yeah,
And yeah, Elise did something. You know, it's a pity because, you know, you you start something, but it's always the people that you are starting something for that will reap the reward, you
yeah.
know. And I don't know if she actually knows that she's the foundation of that.
It feels to me like having a purpose in holding on to that was about more than just you as a person. It was about
You
something much bigger, and it
absolutely
gave us purpose
bigger.
and belief in a
Yeah,
sense. So yes, no,
yeah,
I think everyone that experienced that under feels the same about that whole culture that started there. Zanny, you said about the
yeah.
victories now. One of my fondest memories in Jamaica was us actually beating Jamaica in Jamaica. And I remember you started on wing attack, and you were prepared, but you weren't a specialist wing attack, or you didn't play wing attack your whole career. Was it like
Yes.
difficult to play almost out of position, or did you feel you had enough preparation in wing attack and you were confident enough because you had an eye and you had
Yeah.
a lot of gut feel to put in that ball, and that was something we needed,
Ball.
and that was why the coach trusted you there. But just talk us
Yeah.
through that, almost playing like international netball but out of position.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, that's the thing, you know. Then you have a coach like Elise who, you know, even if she had said to me I must flip and go and play shooter, I would just go
Yes, yes,
because for her I would do anything,
yes,
you know. And I knew how important us winning and just showing that we can, because we were such a good team, but more than anything we were a family,
yes,
you
yes,
know. And we were sisters, and we were like had each other's backs, and at some point a victory had to come for us, you
yeah.
know. Now to go and play wing, I mean, I still have a picture of myself standing and I'm wearing a wing attack verb, and I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa. I mean, I don't have that agility and that flair
Ah,
that wing attacks have,
okay.
but I knew I could feed, you know. I knew I could feed, and Elise trusted me to go and play there. And yeah, it really was difficult though, because you always want to be in your comfort zone in a place where you know, and it could have gone really bad, you
Yeah.
know, but and it didn't, you know. So that's one of the that's one of the victories that I remember, because to beat Jamaica in Jamaica
Yes,
is very difficult,
yes,
you
yes.
know. But we were so good. And I still remember even Mans. Remember, we were training Mans to try and jump those balls
Yes,
from
yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Yo, and she was going up, and we're like, yo, and she was so good. I mean, we eventually like demolished them, you know.
Yes, yes,
So yeah, definitely it's tough playing out of position, especially at a international level. But if you believe in yourself, and your coach believes in you, and you know exactly what you need to go and do in that position, then you just go out there and do it.
yes, yes. I think a good thing in that sense was we also believed that that was a good decision for the team. I think
Decision. Yeah,
like
yeah.
even Chrissy being on shooter or me being on center, like we felt that
Center,
that
yeah.
was the momentum we needed in that game. And
Mm,
I think
mm,
we all trusted the coach's decision. And I think that's also a big
mm,
thing because sometimes players, like, they don't back the coach's call. How big a part do you think
mm.
that plays? Like you being a coach as well. And sometimes the players don't back your decision.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely, sis. But we obviously, we want players to think and be creative, and to not be rigid, to be smart, and yeah, and not to always wait for to be told what to do. They've got to be able to be innovative while they play. But at the same time, if there is a plan,
Yeah.
and the plan is clear, and there's an instruction, and this is the way we're going to do this,
Mm.
the buy-in is so important,
Yeah.
because if the least you can do is try it,
Mm.
instead of already just being like, no, this is not going to work. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that we had. I think more than anything, we trusted our coach, but we had more respect, um, for her vision and for her plan. And we knew that she wanted to win. So she wasn't going to put up something that is not going to give her,
Yeah.
a positive outcome at the end of the day. So,
Mhm.
and also the fact that we as players just said, okay, let's give this a go, let's give it a try. And we made it work,
Yes. Yes.
at the end of the day, then we got the result we wanted.
Mm. Zani, you're such a inspiring woman, and I remember you giving a motivational talk, or even if you would pray, like I would just want to stand there and wish that I could pray like that because it felt like God will definitely answer it if it is that. Like you are so passionate and like you, in a sense, you're very emotional, and
Mm,
I like that. But is it something difficult to be emotional? Like we all have different emotions, but like as a
mm,
youngster being emotional, did you learn things growing up, like how
mm.
to actually manage that emotions for you to actually get
Emotion.
the best out of
Mm,
you while playing?
mm. Yeah. Yo, you see that thing was, yeah. I mean, it's still something I'm dealing with even now
Yeah.
at at this age, being a coach.
Mm.
I mean, if you look at, I'm probably the most animated coach on all these benches that I
Yes.
sit. I go absolutely crazy.
Mm.
Um, but then I saw then a picture of Mans the other day. I think her team had won and she was going crazy. And then I screen matched that. I said to Elise, I said, so it's not only me. That's how we are. It
Yes.
can
Yes.
be that way. So I am extremely emotional, sis. And it's better now, I must say, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And when I was a player, and that's the thing, there were coaches who could deal with that, and there were coaches that couldn't deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, there were coaches who allowed me to be like that and just understood that that's who I am, and didn't try and make the fact that I'm emotional make it as if it's a negative thing.
Yes.
They sort of use that to sort of get the best out of me, to let me be that way, and then that way you would be able to get the best out of me. But
Yeah.
I've had to, I mean, I've put my foot in so many situations, being like that.
Yeah.
But with age and growth, I've understood that sometimes it's better to just let it slide than to
Yeah.
really get involved.
Yes.
But I mean, we played for so many years together. you know, I would go, I would
Yes,
go
yes.
and go and go, you know. But yeah, it was something for, you know, Lana would say to me, she would look me in the eye and she would either know that I'm going to be in this game or I'm not going to be in this game, you know. And
Yes,
that's how even Elise would say the same thing. She'd say, oh, the moment you don't look at me, and then I just know that, you know, something is amiss.
yes,
But that's how I am, you know.
yes,
That's how I am, and I've learned over the years to tone down, but to embrace that that's who I am.
yes. No, I think it's important to stay true to yourself. Like you can't change your personality, and but it's important for a coach to also like know you that well and take you as a package, like to know how to get the best out of you. And you were
Out of
also
you. Yep.
very outspoken, very honest, and I like that. But being a coach yourself now, do you like players like that, or is it
That.
difficult to manage a
Yeah.
player like that?
Yeah. No, you see, this is the thing.
Mm.
I love, because I love a player. I see a lot of myself in some of my players.
Yes, yes,
And I'm like, oh my goodness, there she is. There's Zanele.
yes, yes,
That's me, you know?
yes,
And I was like, Elise allowed me to be like that. Lana allowed me, like they allowed me to ask questions and challenge them and be difficult, if I can put it that way, you know?
yes,
And that's what I like. I'd rather have a player that is like that than a player that is got so much happening inside, so many thoughts, keeps all these things inside and is saying it somewhere else instead of saying it directly to the person that, like to me, for example, as a coach.
yes,
You know, I want the honesty, I want the transparency, and I see a lot of that in my players. In
yes,
some of my players, I see it. I'm like, oh, there I am, you know. And it's not an easy. I know I'm not an easy personality, because then I would say, for example, now I had one or two situations with a player that is exactly the way I was.
yes.
And it was like, oh my word, is this how I was? And I actually phoned Elise and I said, oh my goodness. He says, you see now, Sandy? You see now? You see what you guys put us through? I'm like, oh my goodness, it's a lot. It's a
Yes,
lot. But because they love you,
yes,
they always knew that you were coming from a place of love. You know, it was never malicious. It was never to break or to hurt. It was always maybe to seek clarity and better understanding.
yes. Definitely, I want to encourage coaches to encourage players to actually have a voice and to ask questions and to have that.
Yeah.
I almost want to say
Yes.
leadership in them. Like if we tell them to not talk or not think, like we're going to lose that in a player, and we don't want to lose that leadership and
No.
actually taking or having the guts
No,
to speak up. I
absolutely.
love that. Zani, they always in, so for instance, musicians, they always say the show must go on. And it feels to me like you've experienced a lot of this in the sense that you had real life on the one side and you had a son, and on the other side, you had netball and living your dream. And the show must go on. Talk us through that. I know at one stage you were still in the Protea team, and then you fell pregnant and you got a beautiful son that's he's so talented. So I can't wait to see him. But yeah, talk us through that.
Yeah, so sis, it was actually 2007. I still remember we were at a USA tournament. Um, and in Pretoria, I think it was. And I remember I was going to stay behind and visit Simi.
Yeah.
And like stay. And Nontle was in my team, Lana was our coach. And I'm saying to these guys, there's something happening with my tummy. I don't know, I've got this air, I'm constipated, and Nontle would in the night rub my stomach, rub me. And I would get like they would change. We were staying in a guest house. They would ask them, "Can you please have all bran flakes in the mornings with hot milk so that Zanele can go to have this for breakfast, so she can go to the bathroom and whatever."
Yeah.
All these things, only to find out that I'm carrying a little person.
Oh.
Yeah. And at that time, it was going to be the 2007 World Cup.
Yeah.
And Berta was our coach.
Mm.
And I thought, and then I heard this, and I was just like, oh my shit.
Mm.
Okay, so there goes the World Cup.
Yeah.
And 2008 February, my son was born.
Mm.
And I think, and then in 2008, yeah, and then I was back on the court literally a couple of months after that.
Mm.
And he's 12 years old now. He's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Yes, at that time it was quite scary,
Mm.
but what really was the most amazing thing was the support I got from my parents and my family. And my parents still say to me, "You're going to continue playing netball. You're not going to stop playing netball." Because normally now it's like, okay, there's a baby. Now you need to stop everything, focus on the child.
Yeah.
I mean, till today, my son is with my parents even now.
Mm.
I mean, Stellenbosch, he's in PE.
Yeah.
Just having that support was by far the best thing I could have ever asked for. And having that thing in my mind that I want to get back to the netball, I want to get back to play, So after giving birth, obviously rested a couple of months, and then I was back on the court again.
Mm.
And then in 2009, that's when the national champs were actually in PE.
Yeah.
And we actually won those national championships. And I was playing wing attack there.
That's where they saw you on wing attack. Zanny, how supportive were your teammates? Like, was it difficult to come back? Did they treat you different?
No, not at all. Yo, sis, no, the love, the support. Yes, obviously it's like, oh, okay, you have a baby.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but it was like, okay, life goes on. The baby's here, you healthy, we're doing this. Let's do this. And I was really fortunate. The time that I was in the national team, when we were in the national team, just the way we were really close. We really genuinely loved each other.
Yes.
We really were a family, and that's that was one of our strengths, I think, as a team. It's like we really cared. I still remember we'd come into each other's rooms and sit in each other's beds. It was like we were a real team, and we loved each other a lot. And Elise was very instrumental in making sure that is one of our pillars.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Zanny, you had your fair share of ups and downs, and in 2012, you were captain at one stage of the Protea team.
Mm.
Were you the captain of the quad series?
Of the the Diamond Challenge.
Oh, okay. But with quad series in 2012, you played in New Zealand, and that was also the day you were supposed to get married. So just talk us through that. What happened there, and how instrumental was the team support, Elise's support? Just talk us through it.
Firstly, sis, I was probably not at my best when it comes to definitely emotionally and psychologically. I was nowhere, but physically, I wasn't as fit as I should have been or wanted to be. But Elise's love and her belief in me. I mean, if I wasn't picked to go and play in that tournament, I think my whole world would have I would have literally fallen apart. Sure. Netball was my saving grace. It was my lifeline. I was so broken. I mean, I shared everything with her. She knew everything about the situation. And the day was actually the 2nd of November that I was supposed to get married. And
Yes.
I remember we played in New Zealand. That was phew, but the support of my coach, the support of my teammates. I still remember the goals. Your Carla, was Carla there? I think Carla was there, but players were just like making me feel so like happy on that day, you know, just telling me I could, and they allowed me to say, you know what, guys, today would have been my wedding day and I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, blah, blah, blah. And they were just like, you know, making me feel so loved and so supported. And even though I wasn't at my best, they covered that, you know. They
Yes.
didn't expose me. They sort of had my back. It's like, okay, we see you struggling, but we've got you, you know. And I couldn't have asked for better support than that, because that I would have completely, literally gone down the drain if I hadn't been with the team where I was loved and I was appreciated and accepted, you know. So those are the things that for me are priceless. You know, you can't trade those things for anything. Those are memories, and that's why I know even today, if I speak to you, if I speak to Mans, or I speak to Chrissy, Elise, I know, like, genuinely, these are people who really love me.
No, definitely. We were a very tight unit. Our team was very close. We are still friends now, but it's not always the case. And sometimes the tour can be really long. Like sometimes you're overseas or out of your comfort zone for a month. And I think your roommate plays a big role. And I've been very blessed with the roommates that's I got to actually spend time with. In the sense that you have a place where you can just be yourself and you can relax. You can, you don't have to think what you're going to say. And I remember you and Della on Commonwealth Games, and she would always just tell you, "Don't be that person." What does that mean?
Yo, that was my roomie. Yo, I love spinning. You know, the thing is, I'm a weird person, and I'm challenging, and Adele is strong enough to take that, you know, and she doesn't take shit. Like, she tells me straight up, like, don't be that person. She just sees me coming to, like, if I'm coming from wherever, and I walk into the room, and then she just looks at my face, and I start going, and then she just hoys it. So don't be that person means, like, stop with your shit. Stop with your nonsense. Just stop it, you know? And we just understood each other very well. She knew when I wanted to talk, and she knew when I didn't want to speak. And she knew, like, she would also be, and what I loved was, because she was goalkeeper and I'm wing defense. So if I'm not doing my job, she would be like, you are not doing your job. That's why I can't turn ball. Start defending or sit your ass on the bench. Like, you know, like, decide. Do you want to be on court or do you want to be off court? And I always knew, because Adele's competitive and she just wants to win and win and win. So, but the truth strengthened our relationship, our friendship, you know? So I didn't want, and if I had a bad game, she'll tell me, today you sucked. End of the story, you know? There's no sugarcoating it. It's like, oh, no, you did well. It's straight. That's what I love. And that's her, you know? And so she was my confidant. I could share anything with her. She shared anything with me. So there's mutual respect. And that's why we get along. That's why when I got an opportunity to get a coach to come and assist me here at Marty's, I couldn't have thought of anyone, because she's literally right here. She's here in the Western Cape, but I knew that I wanted someone that understood me and would support me, you know. So best roomie. I couldn't have asked for a better roomie. I mean, I've had tours where, you know, I actually can't remember a tour where I had a roommate that I thought, oh shoot, you know. Yeah. Oh, it was actually our first Commonwealth Games in 2006. I had a roommate. Nonke was my roommate, but
Yeah.
right next door to us, it was Kuchi and Osdudu.
Yes.
Yo, now that was an interesting setup.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but other than that, I've always had happy times with my roomie. Yeah.
Yes. Zani, yeah, I know you both for being very honest, and I like that in both of you. But a
Mm,
thing that I think you really did well, and I got to experience it a bit later in your career, is you're a firm
mm,
believer of building your teammates up. Like if I say twinkle eyes, it'll let you think about Krishna. But like you knew we needed her in a sense you could in a walk or in a bola see something's wrong today and I need to pick her up. Um, is it
mm.
something you learned later on in your career, and how big a role do you think it plays for a team to actually have that great teamwork?
It's critical.
Yes.
It's fundamental.
Mm,
I don't think teams can be successful if they don't have that
mm,
as a core fiber in who they are as a
yes,
team. Um, yeah, I just look at those eyes and I just see that something is not sparkling. Something is
yes,
not sparkling. Because if it's sparkling, then you know you are in danger.
yes,
That goalkeeper is in danger, you know?
yes.
And we always wanted those eyes to sparkle because we knew that if they sparkle, then it's going to be a good day for us, you know?
Yes.
I learned that a little bit later
Mm,
because, you know, at some stage I was quite insecure in my own abilities and in my own potential or your abilities. I think that's the word. So you become more self-centered, more focusing on me and me and me and me.
yeah,
And then once I started growing up and realizing that this is actually not about me, it's like a team sport, and I
yes,
can't do anything without these people around me.
yes,
And if they're not at their best, it's actually quite a
yeah,
it's a the whole exercise is in vain, you know.
yes,
So
yes.
if I can be firing, Aaron's firing, Amanda's firing,
Mm,
Adele's firing, and all of us are firing, then that's how this machine well. So
yeah,
I realized that much later on, but when I did realize it, it made my netball and everything around me so much better, and it was a pleasure to be in that space.
yes, yes. Zanny, when did you know you wanted to be a coach?
I always, I actually, you know, I didn't really want to be coach, like as in have a specific team specifically that I want to coach and be head of. What I
Yeah,
really wanted to do was to sort of coach more like a foundation, like giving
yeah,
back,
okay,
coaching not just a specific team, more like a bigger group of players that I just wanted to have an input in their netball career and just get the little bit that I know, just share the little bit I know with as many kids as possible.
yes, yes,
Like for example, I don't have. I love the I love the age groups. I'm not really into that. I one day want to be a Protea head coach type of thing.
yeah.
You know, I'd rather be
Never
with
say
you. I love
never.
the under 21s, under 19s, under 21s. I love the university level as well. I think
Yes,
that's fine for me. Because and I've sat down. I mean, you sit as a head coach and the seat is flipping hot, like under
yes.
your ass, like you're burning. You know,
Yeah,
it's not a nice place to be. And I
yes,
always said I'll rather choose to be a player. I'll choose to be a player any day than
yeah,
to be a coach.
yeah,
But I'm enjoying it now. For now, I'm enjoying it, and I'm learning so much about the game.
mm,
Being a coach
yes,
now more than when I was a player.
yeah,
It's like if I were to turn back the hands of time, what I know now sitting on a coach's seat, if I would go back and play, I think I'd be 10 times better than what I was, because you just have a different understanding of the game when you're sitting as a coach, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's helped me a lot though in growing, and just also revealing my strengths and weaknesses and things that need attention, things that I'm good at and things that I'm not so good at, and then how to help make those things that are weaknesses to become more like strengths.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like sometimes I feel like I want to play again, just because things you learn through coaching.
Coaching,
Zania,
yeah.
yes, definitely. I respect you so much, and one of the things that I really respect you for is that you never wanted to be in a position that you're there for the wrong reasons. Like you didn't want to be selected for a team because you're a quota player. You didn't want to have a position as a coach if you weren't the right person for that role. Like, and it's something I respect so much of you. And how difficult was this through your career, like playing and coaching? Like, is it difficult to, because obviously sometimes you want to be in the team, but you don't want to be there for the wrong reasons. Like, tell us a bit about that.
Okay. You know, there's a beautiful slogan, if I can use that, I learned from the guy that I'm coaching with now, Monet Fantonde. You know, because we understand the political things when it comes to sport, where the numbers must look right. There needs to be so many numbers of black players in a team and on court and everything. But for me, I felt like I'm not going to go to a training camp and look around and see, okay, how many black players are here?
Yeah.
And there's 10. So out of this 10, there needs to be 5 that must be in the team, minimum, or 6. You know, you can't possibly use that. That can't even feature in your head if you want to be the best.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to play for your country, you need to go there and say, I'm gonna wear the green and gold, but I'm gonna earn it. Then I earn the spot in the team, but then I also earn the respect of my teammates. There's nothing worse than to play in a position and everybody around you knows, including yourself, that you're there because you're black.
Yeah.
You know, and I always say to these administrators, and I say, ask any black kid, do you want to be in a team because of the color of your skin? No.
No one
You
wants
want to be there because you deserve to be there.
Yeah.
You deserve to be there, so that when you play, everybody can see, oh, no, for sure. Take my hat off. She's there because she worked her ass to get there.
Yeah.
And I've always been, I don't want to be set up for failure. So I've also, even in my coaching, like, I want to move up the levels, but at the right pace. Don't throw me in the deep end, especially when you know that I can't swim, because then I'm going to drown.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's why leave me here. I'm going to grow gradually, because there's lessons that you are learning in every phase, you know, that you are at every level that you are at. And I mean, that's why, for example, there was a stage where we could apply for positions, like national positions. And I specifically applied to be an assistant coach for the Fast Five. And I stayed assistant coach for 2 years because I knew I had so much learning that I still had to learn. So many things I had to learn and understand about the format. And I worked with Elsha the 1 year, and then I worked with Dorette the other year. And those are the coaches you can learn from.
Yeah.
You know, I was Lana's assistant coach at Madiba's. Learning, you've got to take from these guys, you know. You don't want to go jump levels, and when you get there, you're clueless. And your players are actually better than what you are.
No, that can't work.
So when I got this position as the head coach of Marty's, and I thought, okay, I think it's great because it's a head coach of a university team. So then now I've been here for 4 years. So next year I can look at saying, well, I can look and say, okay, I'd love to be a senior, a provincial senior team head coach type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's growing now. At least I have
Mm.
an understanding of what it means to build a team
Yeah.
and lead a team. Yeah.
No, definitely, Zanny. I think that's one of the reasons you were one of the best. And it is just that mindset that you don't want to look at other ways to get into the team. You want to do it on your own terms. You want to be there because you're the best for the position or the your job. So
Yeah.
yeah, hats off to standing for that. I think it's sometimes easy to fall into that trap of just going with the stream, and but you're not like
Mm-hmm.
that, and you're true inspiration. And even with Marty's coaching, I think you make a difference in so many people's life. I hope you still do that foundation so you can reach even more people. But I just want to thank you for what you do for South Africa. It's netball, what you've done by playing, what you're giving back now to players. It is awesome to know you. It's awesome to call you my sis and to know that we've been there together, blood, sweat, and tears, and we had each other's back.
Yeah.
It's really nice, and it was no
Yeah.
color or anything like that. It was just to represent our country as best we could. So thanks for having this chat with me, and thanks for what you do for netball.